Hey everyone, it's Mick from Mick M Betting. Today, I am walking you through a sports betting spreadsheet that I have made from scratch. I am not affiliated with any other party. This is something that I've made completely from scratch within Google Sheets, and I'm super excited to be sharing it with you today. We're going to go through a quick little demo of the sheet, and then I will spend 45 to 50 minutes making the sheet from scratch so you can follow along with me. Now, this spreadsheet is not particularly complicated, really. On the surface, it looks a bit overwhelming, but it really just is a glorified sum if, count if sort of sheet, right? Nothing too fancy here. I also want to make the point that this is a sheet specifically designed for those daily fantasy sports apps, those DFS apps, like Prize Picks, Underdog, Sleeper, Parlay Play, Chalkboard. Those are the ones that I'm going to be using in this sheet during the tutorial I'll walk you through. Of course, you can plug in your own DSF apps if you have something different. I do want to make the note that this spreadsheet is not specifically tailored for those traditional sports books, DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars. So of course you can tailor it to as you would what you'd like. However, it's not going to fit one-to-one. I might release a spreadsheet more for those, but for this tutorial today, we're rocking with just those daily fantasy sports apps. The main reason I really love this sheet and what I made is that you're able to differentiate all your bets based on both the book that you're using and the specific sport that you're using. I used NBA, NFL, MLB, PGA, NHL, and then I have an other category as well. But the sheet is divided into 5 different tabs. We have that master tab, which kind of shows you a day-by-day sort of tracker. We have the totals tab, which kind of gives you a more of an overall feel for all the statistics throughout the year. This is for a 2024 sheet. We have the database, which is a very small sheet. We'll get into that later. Right now, I'm on the power play, and I'm typing out an example bet that you would make in one of these apps. So we're taking a Prize Picks. For example, on January 12th, we're betting $5 and we're saying that we're going to profit 10, right? We are using the Prize Picks book in column F. We're using the sport of NBA in column G. And then through H, I, and J, we're putting the exact prop and the specific legs that is part of the bet, right? And you can see on the top row of row 1, everything is yellow except the units bet, the PL parentheses money, and then the PL parentheses units. Those are highlighted in red. The red means that those will be auto calculations based on the inputs that we give it. Again, I'm just running through example bets that potentially you could make, right? Any book, any sport that we will make in this tutorial, you'll be able to put in here. Now I'll get a little bit more into this later. You can see that column F and column G are from a data validation drop-down menu. Those are values that we will be putting into there. The columns H, I, and J, and K, those 4 are the specific prop. Those are not drop-downs and will have to be added manually. However, there is a way to create a data validation drop-down. If you are interested in seeing how I do that so you don't have to type out every single prop, just let me know down in the comments. I can definitely make a quick video on that. A little bit of a hassle, but I think I found a nice way to handle that. However, overall, you do not need the H, I, J, K columns there in the Power Play tab. Those are for your benefit. The information that is really needed for the totals in that Totals tab and the Master tab is column B with the date, column C with the money bet, E, what's the profit, F, the book, G, the sport, L is the bet over, and M, did you win the bet? And of course, N and O are auto populations. But what I'm doing right now is simply showing you that once those totals are inputted in those Power Play, and you'll see in a minute Flex Play tabs, it will automatically show up in the Master tab. And you can go by sport and by book as you scroll over to the right here. It shows that daily total, and then each particular row you can see that weekly recap. And then now you're just seeing where it would be updated in that totals. And of course, we're going to be walking through all of this so you have a better idea of what it is and how to make it. but these particular tables, of course, are correlated to each book, right? So based on the inputs we put into that Power Play tab and the Flex Play tab, it will give you that specific statistic in those tables. And if we scroll over to the right here, you have that top table which differentiates the statistics for the sport and the book, right? And then a little below, we can see per month statistics for the top table there for the specific app, like Prize Picks. And then a little bit below, we can see for the particular sport. So you're able to see your progress and statistics based on the book and the sport that you are using. Now I'm going to show you an example in the Flex Play tab. I'm typing in here January 14, 2024. We're betting $5 here. And this is where Flex Play is different because the Flex Play for every app, they have different multipliers, right? You might win 2 out of 3, but that will be a 1.25x multiplier, right? So we're taking Underdog, for example. If you place a bet of $5, right? Let's say it's a 4-leg bet. If you get 3 out of the 4 right, that's going to be a 1.5 multiplier. And if you get all 4 right, that's going to be a 6x multiplier, right? So I put in the book Underdog. I put in the sport Other because let's just say it's a combination of sports. You have like 1 basketball prop, 1 hockey prop, etc. You have 4 total, right? So I'm just putting in the specific props. Again, that is an optional piece of the spreadsheet. You do actually not need that. That is for your own benefit. So this is where things get a little interesting here. The Flex Play tab here, you first have to designate, is the bet complete? If it is, you check the box on column P. And then on column R, you will designate how many of those legs you actually got correct, right? I'm going to be toggling back and forth here on what would happen if you don't select win, how many of the legs did you actually get correct? And then the formula will output the exact amount that you should be winning based on the result and how many legs you got correct, right? So right here, I'm just toggling, okay, you completed the bet, check mark. Did you win it? Yep. All right. Did you get all 4 right? I sure did, right? So 5 times 6, that equals 30, right? But again, that is including your original bet, okay? So we have to subtract 5 from that because if you bet 5 into the sheet, into the app, excuse me, and you get 30 back, well, you're actually only profiting 25. So this sheet does take that into account, all right? And then now you'll see on column U, you are given the option, hey, was this actually a free bet or promo money? If that's the case, then we are not including that original bet in the profit that we get back. Right? So like I just said, if you put down 5, you'll get back 30, even though you're profiting 25. Well, if that $5 initially was free, well then the profit of 30 you're going to get back is completely profit, right? You're not getting any money back that you put in it because it was a free bet, right? And same if you lose it. If you lose that bet, but it was a free bet, you're not losing anything, right? So that column gives you the option to mess with that a little bit. Then we head over back to the master tab and you can see everything is updated appropriately based on the sport, the type of bet, and on the very right, we have the specific book for the specific day. And then head over to the totals tab here and you can see that it updated it properly within the correct table. And on the bottom there, that is our total 2024 earnings. And you can see throughout the sheet that we are measuring units as well. Units, again, are a baseline standard of how you compare your bankroll with someone else's bankroll. So, for example, someone else's unit might be $100 because they are playing with, let's say, $100,000, right? That's a lot of money, but let's just say. So their unit is going to be significantly higher than what our unit is, which I am designated as $5, right? Okay, so on the bottom left, we see 47.50. We divide that by our unit size, which is designated in this master tab on the top left, which we said is $5. So that $5 is our unit. We divide that by our total. That's how we get all those unit calculations, right? All right, let's get started here. And I'm gonna kind of put some music on the background. I will chime in as I see fit. We're starting to put in the master tab. Just follow along, enjoy. Feel free to pause if you need to. Again, I'll pop in whenever I feel appropriate. All right, enjoy the tutorial. Okay, so real fast, I'm going to show you how you can organize these cells at a diagonal. I'm not going to do that for the video as you saw in the demo, but this is what it would look like if I were to finish it up. I'm going to set them back to how they were, but just wanted to show you how it would be done. Okay, back to the tutorial. Okay, as I'm putting in all of these sports, I put on MLB right there. I'm going to be putting NHL and PGA as well. I do forget to put the other column in there as well. So go ahead and do that. You'll see that pop up later. That's where it will come from. So just don't forget to add 3 more columns to the right of PGA. You'll see here in a second. And just add it as other or miscellaneous, whatever you decide. Okay, back to the tutorial. All right, so you're gonna notice when I start building this power play and flex play tabs that I'm only gonna create 4 rows. You have that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9. I'm gonna create those, and then all we're gonna do is we're gonna copy and paste those throughout the entire sheet so that we don't have to go row by row and creating the same thing over and over. There might be a better way to do it, but this is what I found to be the most efficient and effective, especially for keeping all of the formulas consistent, even on row, say, 500, for example. Okay, back to the tutorial. Okay, so that master A2, make sure to put that $sign so it doesn't actually change within the formulas. That is referring to our unit size, right? So if you do change that unit size, say from what we have now, 5 to 10, it's going to affect every single calculation in the sheet, right? So just make sure that the unit that you set in the master tab is the one that you actually want to have, say $5 for example, because it will affect everything. Okay, back to the video. Okay, remember that these are just test values. And now on column L, if I check completed and leave win blank, it will designate column N as a loss. It is subtracting the amount of money bet in column C, right? If we check completed in column L and win in column M, that is telling the sheet, hey, you actually did win the bet. You profited, say in that second row there, $3 instead of losing $175. This allows you to input your bets and not worry about it automatically displaying a negative number until you tell the sheet that the bet is complete. Also, if you do check column M, the win column, but not the L, it is actually going to ignore that command and output a blank. That column L has to be checked no matter what to display a value in column N. Now this sheet assumes, we're in flex play now, assumes that the highest amount of legs within a bet is 6. Okay, and that is what we're going to tailor those formulas in, say, column R, right? If you have an app that does have over 6 legs, say 8 legs, for example, I know there are some apps that let you do that, then those formulas in the profit loss column will have to change. So for now, in this sheet, we're only doing up to 6 legs, right? 2 correct, 3 correct, 4 correct, 5 correct, and 6 correct. This allows us to put any sort of bet in the flex play tab without having to designate how many legs are actually in the bet. Rather, we can just say how much we'd actually win depending on the legs correct, right? So if we had a 5-leg bet on Prize Picks, for example, and we said, okay, the 3 correct multiplier is going to be 0.4, the 4 correct multiplier is going to be 2, and the 5 correct multiplier is going to be 10. We don't have to tell the sheet anything more than that. We can just provide the sheet with the multipliers. Note real fast that the flex play, I actually divided each bet to 3 rows because you're very likely not going to have a flex play under 3 legs, right? Prize Picks, you can have a 3-leg entry with 2 correct being 1.25, 3 correct being 2.25. You can always delete a row if need be, and of course for those larger bets you can always add the rows, but the default here is the 3-leg bet. Okay, so this formula is pretty meaty. I would definitely stop the video and copy it down. Okay, I want to make a quick note about this formula we just put into column S here, right? Column P and column Q work very similarly to the power play ones, right? It's the column R that adjusts the formula, however. It's very important to designate how many legs you actually got right in your bet, because remember, we put those multipliers in columns E through I, right? So we need to tell the formula how many legs we actually got correct. Now, column Q of flex play is not going to change a ton of the formula because column Q actually tells the totals tab, and we'll get to that later, what the record is. And what I mean by that is we're telling the totals tab, did you actually win the bet or did you lose the bet, right? That's how it tells there. So again, for our purposes, make sure everything is filled out. Did you complete the bet? Did you win the bet? aka did you profit? And how many of the legs you actually got correct. All I'm doing here is I'm just simply copying and pasting throughout the entire sheet, because that will allow our formulas to stay consistent even on, say, row 900. All right, as I continue to verify everything works, I want to thank everyone for getting to the end of the video here. This was such a blast to make. If you have any suggestions, comments, or questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments section. Again, this was very fun to make. I'm very proud of this spreadsheet. It is quote unquote my baby. So again, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like or a comment on it, and I will see you next time.